In the heart of Berlin, a little girl sat on a bench in a bustling park, her face streaked with tears. She had lost her favorite doll, and the world around her seemed indifferent to her distress. People walked by, some with a quick glance, but no one stopped, except for one young man. He appeared to be in his early 20s, with a kind face that showed genuine concern. He knelt beside her and asked gently, "Why are you crying?" She explained about her lost doll, expecting him to move on like the others. Instead, he smiled and said, "Come, let's search for it together." They combed through the park, looking under benches and behind bushes, but the doll was nowhere to be found. As evening approached and darkness began to fall, he turned to her and said, "Don't worry. We'll look again tomorrow. I promise." The girl's tears turned to a hopeful smile, and she nodded. The next day, he returned, but not with the doll. Instead, he brought a letter, supposedly written by the lost doll. "I found this," he said, handing it to her. "Would you like me to read it to you?" She nodded eagerly. The letter read, "Dear friend, please don't cry for me. I am on a grand adventure, traveling the world and seeing new places. I will write to you every day about my experiences until I return." From then on, every day, he brought her a new letter. Each one was filled with tales of the doll's travels, exploring the pyramids of Egypt, sailing the vast oceans, and even meeting a wise old sage in the mountains of Tibet. The little girl's eyes sparkled with wonder as she listened to the stories. She no longer cried for her lost doll but eagerly awaited the new letters and the adventures they contained. One day, a letter came that was different from the others. It said, "My journey is coming to an end, and I am returning home. My travels have changed me, and I might not look the same, but I am still the doll you love. Will you accept me?" The girl was filled with excitement and anticipation. The next day, the young man arrived with a new doll, slightly different in appearance, but he explained that the doll's adventures had changed her. The little girl hugged the doll tightly, her heart filled with joy. She didn't mind the differences, she was just happy to have her friend back. Years passed, and the girl grew up, cherishing the memory of those days in the park. She eventually learned that the letters were not written by her doll but by the kind stranger who had seen her crying and wanted to bring her comfort. He was not just any man, he was Franz Kafka, a renowned writer known for his deep compassion and understanding of the human soul. One day, she came across a news article announcing Kafka's death. She felt a deep pang of loss, remembering the kindness he had shown her. She rushed to her room, found the doll, and hugged it close. That's when she discovered Kafka's final letter hidden inside the doll. It said, "Dear girl, everything we love may be lost and may never come back. But believe, love will always come back to us in another form. Change is inevitable. But Kafka believed that it brings unexpected gifts and new beginnings." That's exactly what happened to the little girl. Though we may sometimes lose what we love, we will receive it back in surprising and meaningful ways. Let us also learn to accept the changes and disappointments that life brings.